Hello and welcome to Business Growth School for Service Providers podcast. I'm your host Ali Salman, and this podcast is brought to you by Rapid Boost Marketing, online marketing for service providers. Are you a dentist, realtor, lawyer, accountant? Do you provide services locally? Then this podcast is for you. Here we share strategies, tricks, and techniques on how to generate more leads and sales using online marketing. Join us every day for 5 minutes and take away strategies which you can apply in your business.
The power of cause and cult. Blake Mycoskie, in 2002, he lost $1 million in an amazing race, the TV series, literally in 4 or 5 seconds. Then he basically, in 2006, he ends up going to Argentina with his sister. And he had an entrepreneurial background. He was already running his fourth startup. There he stumbles upon this business idea, which basically a shoe company, and he comes back and he starts working on it. The whole idea was built on that if you buy a pair of shoes, they will basically give a pair of shoes to someone who cannot afford it, right? Who doesn't really have a pair of shoes, right? Which can be a huge change in their lives. That brand ended up becoming almost $1 billion company today and is known as Dom's Shoes. A lot of you who are watching today probably have Dom's Shoes as well, right? The power of cause is really underutilized in today's businesses, right? Dom's Shoes, the whole brand is built on giving and looking after a cause. The customer, they will buy and they will spend ridiculous amount of money which they cannot logically justify, but they will buy that brand because that brand stands behind a cause. And the cause is so powerful. I met with my nephew and he actually convinced me to buy 2 pair of Dom's shoes. Because why? I end up spending $180 because there will be 2 other people who will be getting it, right? So this was beautifully done, because when we do something good, we feel good. And the brands have to understand that, companies have to understand that if they use causes and they basically do it really well, then they form cults, and the cults support your brand in a beautiful ways. Dom's Shoes ended up basically also creating a day without the shoes, and the whole idea was just that ice bucket challenge, just to make people realize that how does it feel a day without the shoes, right? In 2016, they basically end up donating 28,000 shoes in one day. They reached 3.5 million people on social media. That's the power of cause marketing. That's the power of not doing zero advertisements and purely basically using the power of people and the causes to basically stand behind an idea where people support your brand. Cause marketing was basically started by American Express in 1980s. That's where basically it got mainstream. They were raising funds for Statue of Liberty. And American Express basically came up with this really clever and cool idea. They said basically that every dollar spent, right, we're gonna basically give a certain percent towards the fund, and also every new app where you will open up a credit card with American Express, they will basically donate a portion of that to the Statue of Liberty Fund. American Express at that time was facing a very tough competition from Bank America Corporation. They were actually under a lot of stress. This campaign single-handedly lifted their sales and new applications up by 27%. The power of a cause, and people stood behind it, and they end up raising more than $1 million, right, towards the restoration of Statue of Liberty. Amazing idea. Again, similarly, American Express basically started that in 1980s, and that's why it became mainstream. Matt and Nate, it's a brand out of Montreal, and it stands for Matt, basically stands for material, and Nat stands for nature, right? They use 100% recyclable plastic bottles to create handbags and all these accessories, predominantly for women. Their bags are not cheap. They're made out of plastic. People love to buy it. I know my wife, right? Okay, she recently bought an expensive bag. Why? Because she felt good. She felt good to be part of a cause. She felt good to be part of this movement who basically cares about something. And Matt and Nate have basically beautifully leveraged the power of cause in their marketing and in their business model, like Tom Shoes have done that. Another example is the Body Shop. I know you probably heard about it. Even if you don't use Body Shop, you know that the whole idea behind Body Shop, and they were such a strong advocates of animal cruelty, animal rights, right? Where it was very common, every other makeup company was using and testing and trying makeup products on animals, right? They said no. They basically said that's cruel, we won't gonna do it, and that helped their brand stand behind a cause, and people supported them, right? It's not cheap product, it's an expensive product. Tom Shoes, it's an expensive product. Matt and Nate is an expensive product, but people are willing to stand behind a cause, and that's the beauty and the power of cause marketing and forming the cults who can basically support your brand, and they are such a loyal customer of your brand. Another big brand, Whole Foods, multi-billion-dollar brand, recently bought out by Amazon. They stand for sustainability, environmentally friendly products, GMO, non-GMO products, right? They basically source locally, they're focused on organic. Again, it's a cause. It's a cause to look after Earth. It's a cause to basically being very environmentally conscious. They also heavily support local farmers. They actually have a charity called Whole Planet Earth or something along those lines, Whole Planet, and what it does is it actually supports through micro lending to women across the world, right, to basically be independent, right? So the idea behind the Whole Foods is it's not a cheap brand or cheap store to shop at, right? The prices are high, but that every product which is sitting there, it has a story. It is sustainable. It probably be environmentally conscious product. So the idea is that Whole Foods stand behind a cause, and then people support Whole Food. This is the exact same example we have talked about throughout this video. Amazing thing is that 79% of the customers, when they have been asked that what if you have a comparable company which you're already using a company A, right? But what if a company B is exactly same as company A, but all they are doing is they're also tied up with a charitable cause. They're basically tied up with some sort of giving back. 79% of customers said that they're gonna support the company B, a company which is exactly same in the services as company A, but it's tied up with a charitable cause. It's tied up with basically something beyond than the profit. So customers care about causes, and there is a huge power in the cause and the power of cult, and I think so it's very underutilized by small to mid-sized businesses out there. So go back and look at your marketing strategy, that how you can implement this whole idea of causes, and if you can stand behind something, make sure it's genuine, make sure you really care about that, and if you can execute that well, I can promise you that this will help your brand immensely. See you in the next video, guys.
Thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to listen to previous episodes, go to rapidboostmarketing.com/grow. Again, I'll repeat that, rapidboostmarketing.com/grow. I'll catch you tomorrow bright and early with another business growth lesson. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.